Hello guys. Thank you for joining me on our bi-weekly webinar. Fortunately, my voice is better since the 2 weeks ago. Still not 100%. This was a weird sore throat I had. It was the worst one I had ever in my life. I never experienced something like this. I don't know what it was. I tested myself a bunch of times. It wasn't COVID, it wasn't the flu, so I have no idea what it was, but it was very bad. Okay, enough about that. I hope you guys are all doing okay. And I'll start the webinar with a few items that I prepared, so we talked about them today. First item from Adrian, delete and post reviews from queue. Be able to delete scheduled reviews from the queue and also post straight away. Okay, so this would be for social posting. See, in posting we have okay, so we have a queue and a log. The log shows what items were posted, and the queue shows what items were added to the queue based on the filters here. In this case, I don't have it enabled, so there's nothing in the queue. But what it would show right now would be oh, I got a question from Dara. Are you showing your screen? I thought I am. I thought I shared my screen. Let me double check that. Can you guys see now? Am I sharing correctly? Can you give me a 1 on the chat if I'm sharing my screen correctly? If you're able to see it. Okay, you see now. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this was the item that I opened. I wanted to show you guys. Be able to delete scheduled reviews from the queue and also post straight away. So yeah, and I was showing we have a log in the queue. There's nothing in my queue yet at this time, but usually we would just see which reviews would schedule for posting here, and that would be it. With some details about the review, when it will be posted, and things like that. But there's no actions that you can take, and we have 2 suggestions here. So be able to delete and be able to post it straight away. So in this list, we can add 2 buttons. So we'll add 2 buttons, delete and post now. This will post it straight away instead of having to wait because based on some settings spread throughout the day, how many should be posted per day. There might be a few hours or even a day or 2 until a review gets posted. So if you want to speed up that process, you can do that with this button. And I think that covers this one. I think that should be pretty much it. And mark it as a comment. Okay, moving on to the next one. Review request email phone caller. This is Nick. I've been talking to him about this on the chat on support, and he was saying something about the email having this great text. It's sometimes on some screens it's hard to read. So he would like, please add the ability to change the font color on the review request emails. I have a number of clients who complain about the light gray color of the emails being difficult to read. If you can add an option for us to set the font color in the email so we can make it black, for example, would be extremely helpful. Do you guys think this should be useful? And if you do you think the agency should set this for all the businesses, or should every business be able to add their own color for the emails? What do you guys think? Any thoughts on that? Or maybe another way would be to have both options. So you can say, as the agency, I want this to be the default color for all my businesses. And then each business can also customize their own color. I think that would be best, actually. Dara says add their own color. Yeah, so have two options. Allow agency to change default color. And the default right now is the light gray that we were talking about. And then allow businesses to add their own color. And I think that's it. Straightforward. Okay, moving on. Next one is slow web page load time urgent. This seems more like a support request, not a feature request. Seems like there was an issue here. I'm not sure if it's still happening. So since I'm here, yeah, let's take a look at it. Google and ReviewGrower are load time killers. Let's see. Let me close this thing. Okay, I don't really understand much from this screenshot other than there's a specific number of size kilobytes that the browser is downloading for our app and for our files, but I don't see where this says it's loading very slowly, or I don't see it showing there's an issue here. So I'm gonna I'm gonna notify John and add a comment here to have him contact me on support so we can go through this together, because I don't really see it. This isn't a feature request anyway, so it's not the right place to have it. Close this one. Next one, scroll bar in Firefox widgets. There are scroll bars showing in grid and hover widgets when viewed in Firefox on Windows desktop machine. Yeah, this also seems more like an issue, like a bug, UI bug. But I remember I talked to Nardo about this on the chat as well, and he sent the screenshots. So for some reasons, yeah, I do see in his screenshots we're showing some scroll bars there in Firefox and Windows. I have checked this on the Windows 7 Pro and Windows 10 Pro desktop machine with the same unfortunate results. So it's not just Windows 7, it's also happening on Windows 10. Scroll bars look very unprofessional. Screenshots are from a full screen view. And also the hover widget showing the scroll bars. Okay, this isn't a feature request either, but it's a pretty straightforward issue. I'll have to. I'm not a Windows user, but I'll have to get my hands on a Windows machine and see if I can find anything for this. I hope I'll be able to replicate when I get my hands on one of those. Because everything I tested on a Mac looks good. So it's definitely something Windows only. I will mark this as planned since I have to do this, even if it's not a feature request. Okay, moving on to the next one. Unselect reviews from streaming. There may be a number of legitimate reasons why you wouldn't want a certain 4 or 5-star review showing up in your review widgets. Please allow us a toggle for each review so we can unselect a review from showing up in the streaming widgets. This is an interesting request. Do you guys feel like this should be added to the widget settings? Would you like to have a way to exclude certain reviews from the widget, even if it's a 5 or 4-star review? So, for example, in the grid settings, we have filters, minimum rating. So I guess a use case would be, let's say I select a minimum of 4 stars, and this is a review with 4 stars. So maybe they did add a 4-star rating, but then they might have said something negatively in the text, something like I was happy, but this and that happened. And sorry, give me a second. Guys, I'll be very quick. I have to take this phone call. It's Joe calling me. I'll be right there in a minute. Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay, so as I was saying, there could be 4-star reviews that might say something negatively. So a way to exclude those. I'm thinking how we would be able to exclude them. we wouldn't, and a way would be to add an X button here that would exclude it, but that actually would work only for grid or column. But if there's a, actually, it could also work here. We can add an X on each one for exclusion. But one thing I was thinking about is the rotator. For these ones, there's no way to open the list of reviews. So maybe a better way would be here in the settings, minimum rating, and then have a button here, exclude certain reviews or something like that. And then when you click on that, it opens up a dialog, a pop-up that shows all the reviews that are meeting the criteria, and then you can exclude them. So any thoughts on that, guys? You think that makes sense? Okay, if no other thoughts, then I guess this is also pretty straightforward. Mark it as excluded. All right, and I think that covers this one as well. I've got 2 more left. Next one, confusing widget embed codes instructions. So for the embed codes, you say with schema and without schema. But the with schema code is just schema, nothing else. Your labeling is confusing. I can see how that's confusing. Yeah. So in the widget embed code, we say with schema and without schema, but this actually is confusing because it might make you think that you can use either one and have the widget embedded on your website, but actually the schema is just for Google. And there's more to that. There are a lot of factors when Google takes this into consideration or not and shows the rating in Google results and stuff like that. But the without schema, this is actually the only one that makes the widget show up on your website. So I can see here, we should only say schema and then add the description, what it is, what it is doing for Google and stuff like that. And then embed code, or actually, they're both embeddable codes. So we would say schema and then embed widget or something like that. It would be clear if you named them schema and widget. Yeah, kind of the same thing as I said. Maybe change the description of the schema code a little, like if you want to use schema with your widgets, also add this code in your website section. It would be more intuitive as well if you change the order. First show the widgets embed code and then underneath that the optional schema. Yeah, so this should have priority, I agree. It should be placed above. And then we should also say schema and then explain what that is for. Yeah, so I fully agree with Nardo here. His comments says everything, so there's nothing else that I can add as far as details. Okay, it's planned. And the last item, oh wait, I have a question here from Paul. Does the schema automatically update as new reviews are added? Well, unfortunately, no. This is not possible because when you copy it from here, then you get this, let me open up my editor and show you. There's no dynamic way of replacing this data. As soon as you add it to your website, it's static. So you would have to update it frequently. There might be ways to do that, but unfortunately, there's nothing that I know of at this point. So we will have to do some research on that. Maybe we could build a WordPress plugin that grabs the data dynamically and displays it, but not everyone has a WordPress website, although most of the people do have a WordPress website. So that might be an option, but I'm not sure. Okay, cool. Let's see. So that's that. And then the last item from Nick. Review widget, add option to show reviews with text. When I'm creating slider or carousel widgets and placing them on my client's homepage to feature their recent reviews, the reviews without any text do not look good next to the reviews with text. Yeah, I can see that happening. It wouldn't look good. If you can add an option in the feed settings section for only showing reviews with text, that would be amazing. So for slider or carousel, let's see. Slider. Now, okay, so yeah, if there are empty reviews with no text here, I can see how they will not look good. What we can do is here in the settings, in feed, like we have only show reviews with profile picture. Like for example, these ones don't have a profile picture, just a letter. So they will be excluded, and now you can see only reviews with real images are shown. In the same way, we can also add another option, only show reviews with text. Add one option for only the widget settings of feed section. Below the option show reviews with profile pic. And I'll also mark this as planned. And that's it. If you guys don't have any other thoughts on this, then that wraps it for today. So as usual, if you have any issues or any concerns, please contact me on the chat or via email support@reviewgrower.com. And I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, Darren.